So, we're on our final week of the mesocycle, and things are looking pretty promising. I started off with the typical red band holds. I actually lowered the height of the band by about 30 centimeters, and I'm satisfied with my form and the duration. I think this is a big improvement from a couple weeks ago, and this is a clear sign of progression. Now, this isn't really what I wanted to emphasize. The key feature of this session were the back offsets, so the yellow band holds that you will see soon. I actually managed to hold it for about 13 seconds when I typically do about 7 to 8. So I decided whether this is a fluke or not, like an increase in about 8 seconds with great form is definitely a sign that I need to progressively overload it. So I attempted the full planche variation, and I'll just have to get used to the form, how much I need to lean, all those other niche parts that construct the technique. So, why are these back offsets so important? Well, I've been talking to Mantis Calisthenics for quite some time, and I've recently watched his block review video, and he completely deconstructs everything that he went through. He talks about like short-term trends, but he visualized his whole progression and everything, and I found it extremely insightful. My main takeaway was your back offsets are a clear indicator of your progression. Now, does that mean that those supposed back offsets or secondary exercises are, like absolutely mandatory in terms of progression? No. So long as one component of your training improves, that is a sign of success in your program. As long as you're not plateauing, you are doing something right. Now, of course, we can bring in the debate of how optimal you may be, but at a point in training where you've played around with the planche for a sufficient amount of time, you generally know what you respond well with. So I don't think the argument of how optimal you may be is a big concern. At these higher levels of training, you simply can't expect explosive progression. Now, obviously, like a lot of people, they learn the planche in like 8 months. That's simply not going to be the case in my individual journey. We're all completely different. Our leverages are completely, different as well. And there's no one way of projecting or estimating your, the time it takes to learn the full planche. So I believe I was very obsessed with numbers and always hitting an increment of progression every single week. But I've kind of dialed it down because as long as one thing is improving week by week or even by the end of the mesocycle, so the full month, that is progression. I'm a happy man. But yeah, so speaking about numbers, here were my handstand push-ups. I tried pumping out 12.5 kilos. That's a 2.5 kilo increase from last week. I think that was too much for me, but I dropped it to 10 and I went up to 11.25. This was my last set. And this last rep, I knew I wasn't going to get it, so I decided to just do a very slow negative, just to maximize the set in a way. So that's basically it, and I'll finish it off here.